just walking down Main Street and I see a march here on the island of Gibraltar. Right behind me, Lewis Photos. There has to be residue in here of old photos depicting Gibraltar as an island. Have you ever heard anybody refer to or call Gibraltar an island? They think it's an island? All the time. All the time. The whole isthmus would get flooded where the airport is. Yeah. And then when there was storms, and then it would appear like an island. Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this. And this lagoon was it man-made or was that naturally there?
Natural lagoon.
Wow, you guys, this is reality residue. So there was actually in that lagoon there was a hospital.
That bit there was where the canal was. It's not there anymore.
Oh, the canal's not there.
Yeah.
So it was actually on the south side of the airport landing,
yeah.
The canal. Oh wow. And I told her if she could do me the favor and actually write the island of Gibraltar with her signature. The runway, 1939, when the airport was built on the island of Gibraltar, Maria. I just ended my meeting with Linda Alvarez, the Island Games representative. She's lived here for 40 years. She's also been a rep for the 1995 Island Games. I finally spoke to someone from the Island Games and I'm so glad that I was able to meet her. Very sweet old lady. She took the time out on her weekend to sit down with me and, you know, discuss, you know, meet with me to, you know, ask some questions. I was able to sit with her and, you know, get my answer. Why is Gibraltar hosting the Island Games when it's not an island? And the answer, the answer to it is because historically and politically, Gibraltar's been like an island. And that was the answer I got, basically. It's not because of the population. She's not too sure as to, you know, if population has to do, you know, with any. She actually said that population is part of the reason why Gibraltar, you know, or the participants are in the Island Games. So it's a factor that plays into participating into the Island Games. But then I asked, what size of population does a geographical place need to have in order to be a participant? And I could not get an answer. She said she actually doesn't even know, because I was like, what about Greenland? What about Iceland? They have almost 250,000 people. What is the actual limit population? So the population argument was definitely difficult to believe. But historically and politically, I can see how that makes sense. But I'm telling you guys, there is more to it than meets the eye. And at least I got her testimony, her account. I forgot which department she works for the Island Games, but she's up there. She's up there, and she, you know, she helped take care of the 1995 and 2019, and she's actually attending also the Commonwealth Games that'll be in the next 2 days. And so you know, she was also very nice. You know, right before we said goodbye to each other, she gave me an Island Games dolphin pin that the other gentleman at the souvenir store gave me. I think there's so much for her time, for the pin, for taking her time out on the weekend to discuss with me. We exchanged contacts, and hopefully one day we'll meet again. And but to me, the Island Games is still evidence that this place, there's a reason why they're hosting the Island Games. Linda Donata, she heard me out. I explained the whole Mandela effect to her. She heard me out. She listened to my whole story, and you know, I let her know that I wasn't trying to convince her or make her believe something. You know, she heard me out, but you know, I know it's difficult to prove when you're dealing with people or souls that have always known it to be how it is in this, I guess you could say, reality or history. It's very difficult to prove because you're interacting with people who have always lived here and have always lived on this, I guess you could say, also timeline. And so it's a very difficult thing to prove to other people. I showed her the magazine, the book, the newspapers I have, there's more to it, guys. The island games is definitely evidence that this and another reality actually exists as an island. You know, I actually asked Linda if she would know if that road that we saw yesterday at the Gibraltar Museum next to the lagoon, that road next to the lagoon that I was you know, saying that might be reality residue, if that road was not man-made. You know, she showed me a photo. This is the road I'm talking about. Yeah, no, so that was natural.
That was natural.
Wow. So basically this road just split the lagoon.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, we came to the conclusion that, you know, there's a reason why the model at the Gibraltar Museum shows that road next to the lagoon. And that road basically, that piece of water, you know, that road next to the lagoon, that is reality residue. That there's no way that was man-made back in 1863, I believe, is when the model says it's depicting Gibraltar. So for me, that lagoon area is actually reality residue, water or sea from another reality, in which, you know, the whole north part of the island was, you know, there was water at the north of the island. That's why it was Gibraltar Straits, because it was a strait to the north and a strait to the south. So yeah, now it makes sense. That I classify the lagoon as reality residue, and that road, you know, that road, you know, is not man-made. That road was not man-made, so therefore that lagoon is that lagoon area is definitely reality residue. I'm gonna try and stop there on my way back at the end of the day when I head back to La Línea. I'm just walking down Main Street and I see a march here on the island of Gibraltar. Amazing, guys. That's the second coolest thing I've seen on Main Street. The other day, like 2 days ago, I saw the British military walking here down Main Street here on the island of Gibraltar. So I just left the tourism office here near Main Street. I'm gonna try and see if I can see these plants today. They're only found here in Gibraltar and in Northern Africa. You would not find these in Europe. And I'm also going to try and see if I can go on top of the rock and see if I can see the Barbary partridge birds, which are also only found here in Gibraltar and in Northern Africa. You would not find these in the rest of Europe. And the same applies to the monkeys, obviously. We saw those the other day. And it's proof that at one point, yes, Europe was connected to Africa. So before I head to Almeda Garden to see the candy tuft plants, I will be heading to a shop here on Main Street called Lewis Photos. I stopped by yesterday, it was closed. They should be open now, and I'm gonna try and look for any residue of evidence of Gibraltar being an island. They allegedly have old photos of Gibraltar, so let's see what we find. All right, guys, right behind me, Lewis Photos. They are open. I'm so glad I can have a look. There has to be residue in here of old photos depicting Gibraltar as an island. Call it an island. We're gonna try and search for evidence, and let's see what we can find. Wow, this shop is amazing, you guys. Look at this. I'm doing a video. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, sorry. Just doing a video for my YouTube, but I won't take the video inside. No, you're not in a video. It's facing me. Yeah. Just a question. How long have you lived here and operating this shop? Because it looks really fascinating. Wow, so you've been here she's been here all her life. The shop is, you know, 30 years old, I believe. Have you ever heard anybody refer to or call Gibraltar an island? They think it's an island? All the time, all the time. Wow. And they're not, and then you end up having to correct them. Wow, that's amazing. Is there a reason why you think people think Gibraltar is an island?
Because the north part of Spain, and they think that once they cross the runway, that we were an island. At one time, the water used to cover the runway area.
Right.
It's a very low-lying isthmus.
Wow.
So
the reason why you're saying is because that whole airport area was filled with water.
At one time,
it was a river.
Not the river, the
Mediterranean Sea. Because if you go to the Gibraltar Museum, and you'll see the big model of Gibraltar, you won't see a river there. You only see the lagoon there. So how was there a river there if that model from 1863?
Yeah, there wasn't a river.
There was no river. So what was there?
It was called the Caledonian Canal. It ran all the way across.
There was a canal there.
Yeah.
So why doesn't the 1863 model at the Gibraltar Museum show the canal?
Because it's just by the neutral ground.
Is that the north of that model?
Sorry?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
That the model shows up to the neutral ground. Where the canal was running. Further afield, so you don't see it the mainland.
So like kind of like almost where near the border is.
Yeah.
So that there was a canal there at one point. Interesting. So there was an actual canal from the Bay of Gibraltar to the east of the Mediterranean? There was a canal. So therefore people think it was an island. Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this, and I've been exploring Gibraltar for the last few days, and finally I'm getting an answer, because I'm like, why do people think there was a river there or something? There was a body of water. Was it a huge canal?
It was a very narrow one.
Very narrow one. Wow.
But, I mean, it wasn't a canal like.
Yeah. So you think that's the reason why people confuse this as an island? But how many years ago was that? When was that canal destroyed? Early 1990s. Oh, 1900s. So wow. So that was at least more than 100 years ago, and people still confuse it for that reason from 1900s. Yes. Wow.
Just that it's anti-isthmus. That's all that joins us to the mainland.
Yeah.
So when the tide was high, or there was a storm, storms or anything,
the canal will get over flooded or something?
Would be flooded. So from a distance it would look like an island.
Interesting. So she's saying that when there was storms, that canal where the border is, it would get flooded by water, and it would seem as if
the whole of the isthmus.
The whole isthmus would get flooded where the airport is. Yeah. And then when there was storms, and then it would appear like an island. Wow, this is the first time I'm hearing this. This is amazing. And so, okay, so I have another question. Have you heard of the Island Games?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you hosted it here in 2019, 1995. I'm pretty sure you probably attended some of the games. Why is Gibraltar hosting the Island Games when it's not an island?
It's one of the small islands.
Yeah.
Very small entities.
Yeah.
We're not allowed.
Yeah.
But they agreed to consider us as one for these things.
Yeah. It's very strange, because if you check out all the other participants geographically, they're all islands except for Gibraltar. So maybe you think that's the reason why people are confusing it for an island as well?
Could be, yeah.
Could be. Yeah. How about one last question? Is it Gibraltar Straits plural or Gibraltar Strait singular? Plural. So then a lot of people will say the same thing, and the souvenirs will even say Gibraltar Straits. Why is it called Gibraltar Straits when there's only one strait?
I it's a generalization, no?
So it's something that other people use, and then therefore it just gets commonly used. The name.
Transiting the straits.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it.
Yeah, but there's only one strait.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. You know, so a lot of people. I'm investigating. I came here for my holiday to investigate this phenomenon, in which there's been a supernatural phenomenon where a lot of people's souls have kind of like come to a new Earth, and the old Earth or old world maps, Gibraltar was actually an island in between Spain and Morocco, separated by lots of water. And so that's why when they remember studying Gibraltar, it was a strait to the north of the island and south of the island. So that's why it was always referred to as Gibraltar Straits, and that's the reason why the Island Games was hosted here. So I'm trying to prove my case is that in another, I know it sounds crazy, but in another parallel universe in which we cannot see, this actual piece of land is actually an island, and then I'm speaking to people and I'm trying to make them understand is that is the reason why you meet so many people here, because you meet so many people here that they refer to it as an island, they think it's an island, and it's because we can actually interact with souls from another other parallel universe in which we can't physically see. So we're finding out that our souls are it sounds crazy, right? But our souls are interdimensional. We can actually enter different times and space, parallel universes, without even knowing it, because when we wake up, everything appears to be the same. But there's small changes in this supernatural phenomenon that people are discovering, and they have memories of certain things existing or happening a certain way, but when they look at it now, it never happened. So this is what I'm trying to explain to people. There's a reason why people confuse this for an island. It's because in another parallel universe in which you can't see, this place is actually an island. Yeah. So that's why you hear, you know, the term Gibraltar Straits. The Island Games is hosted here, and you meet all these people that think it's an island when it's not an island. So I'm actually here. Your shop is amazing. And I'm trying to look for evidence, because I'll show you my evidence in just a sec. I'll show her my evidence that I have of Gibraltar being described as an island in many photographs, books, a magazine. I mean, you can find it everywhere. You know, people are referring to this place as an island. And so I wanted to check your store to see if I can purchase any evidence that you may think you might have, that any of these pictures that refer to Gibraltar as an island, has the keyword island on it, or, you know, depicts it as an island. Yeah. Let me. So you guys, this is an interesting photo, and I wanted to ask the nice lady here, Maria, because I saw this in the Gibraltar Museum, and I'm aware this is the lagoon.
That's the lagoon.
So this is the lagoon. This is Bay of Gibraltar, or otherwise known as the Bay of Algeciras.
Not by us. It's always been the Bay of Gibraltar.
Bay of Gibraltar.
But when the Spanish started making trouble, they also
gave it their own name.
They gave it their own name. So,
gotcha.
But it's always been the Bay of Gibraltar.
So I'm interested in this road right here, right?
Yeah, that's what we call the inundation road.
The inundation road.
Yeah.
Is this still called inundation
No,
road?
it's called Winston Churchill Avenue.
Winston Churchill Avenue. And I can still go there and walk. Wow, I'm gonna walk there later.
This is where the airport is.
Wow.
There used to be some gardens there.
Yeah.
And they were all taken up where the airport was built in 1939.
Wow.
At the start of the war.
Right.
So.
And this lagoon was it man-made, or was that naturally there?
No, that was a natural lagoon.
Wow, you guys, this is reality residue.
The estate, which is there now, is called Laguna Estate.
Lagoon, yeah. I passed by there, and a lot of the buildings will say Laguna
Estate.
Wow, very interesting. And this road right here, so this is natural, and I'm assuming this road has to be natural as well.
Yeah, the road.
It's not man-made.
Yeah, the road was built.
Wow, and this picture is from what year?
I think it was 1912 or something like that.
Wow, 1912. And this is this a original, or is this like a copy?
No, it's a copy of a copy.
Yeah. Wow.
No, it
wow,
must
you
be later
guys.
than that. But,
wow. Is this like a little island there?
It's later than that, because the cross of sacrifice which is there. It was,
is it still there?
Yeah. It's a
what is it called?
The Cross of Sacrifice.
Cross of Sacrifice.
This was erected in 1922. So this was
1922.
Yeah.
So this was after 1922. This picture.
This picture, yeah.
Yeah.
The cross is there.
Wow.
Already.
How about this little piece of land in there? What is that?
That was.
Was that actually like a little rock sticking out?
It was like a little island.
Wow.
That bit there, it was the isolation hospital.
This little thing right here was a hospital?
It was the isolation hospital. All this serious cases that.
Yeah. This little thing right here?
Yeah, and that's the island.
So this is a little hospital.
Yeah.
In the middle of the lagoon?
Yeah.
Wow. Why would they build a hospital in the middle of the lagoon?
The isolation hospital to keep cases from.
I guess like like COVID to stop it from spreading. Oh wow, you guys, look at this. So there was actually in that lagoon there was a hospital in the middle of the lagoon. That's very interesting. Wow, that lagoon has a lot of history.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I think this is reality residue. That's supposed to be a sea there. This is very interesting. So this is Winston Churchill Avenue, and that's I forgot the name of the cross.
The Cross of Sacrifice.
Cross of Sacrifice, yeah. Wow.
This is where the lagoon is.
Yeah, wow. It's crazy because a lot of these photos will show the isthmus is much wider, and then in other photographs it shows like a little road.
It's just another
yeah, why is it some depict a little road?
I don't know.
That's very strange.
Depends on the angle, I suppose.
Depends on the angle, wow.
That's where that bit there was where the canal was. It's not there anymore.
Oh, the canal's not there.
Yeah.
But I thought you said the canal was more towards the border.
No, not towards this.
So it was actually on the south side of the airport landing,
yeah.
The canal? Oh, wow, okay. If there's a picture that you have of the canal, that would be great. Do you think you have any of the pictures with the canals? I really want to see a picture of the canal, you guys. To what I've been told,
yeah.
Or some will say that this was the only way into Gibraltar, and then you would have to enter the Lamport Tunnel.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Lamport Tunnel is a bit further.
Why was this the only way if there was a huge isthmus to the right across the lagoon?
It's never been a huge one. That's why it's depicted like that.
So what was there before? There was land there, obviously, right?
It's always been a sandy isthmus.
Sandy isthmus.
Yeah.
Wow. So the nice lady here is trying to look for a photo that actually shows the canal, in which many people here I've met are referring to as the river, or like kind of like a body of water that would that they would make people believe that it's an island. And I was told here by this nice lady also that sometimes before the airport was built, that sometimes that isthmus where the airport currently is, it would be so stormy that whole piece of land would actually be filled with water. It would get over flooded, and then Gibraltar would actually appear as an island. Very interesting.
This was called the Devil's Tongue.
Okay.
Because the firepower from this was what kept the Spaniards away.
So this body of water is
the sea.
The Mediterranean seaside.
The bay. Yeah.
The bay. Wait, I thought the bay was on the east.
Yeah, but that's all part of the bay.
That's part of, wait, so there was actually a fortress built in the bay?
No, that was an entry point into the.
Oh, so this is the west side of the rock.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow.
So you see the
so
sea
this
came up to the very top
is
of
that.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is actually the east side of the west side from the bay. Gotcha. So we're not. I asked the lady who works here if there's any photographs or pictures, posters, whatever she has that she can think of that has the keyword island, or refers to it as an island, or has the keyword as an island. As far as she knows, there's nothing in this in this store that she has that says island in it. And she has quite a lot of photos in here, very historic, a lot of historic images. There has to be at least, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand photos here. And in order to search every one, it would be very time consuming. And so since she doesn't have any photographs that say island on them, what I'm most interested in is purchasing photos of the lagoon and more photos of Winston Churchill Avenue, where it shows it going through the lagoon, and as well as photos of the hospital in that lagoon. That's very interesting, and to me, that lagoon, that is it's a natural lagoon. To me, that is reality residue, in which there should be a sea to the north of the island. And what I mean by sea is there should be a strait. Mediterranean Sea should be going to the North Strait, through the North Strait of the island of Gibraltar. And that's if I could find more photos of the lagoon, that would be great. So guys, I'll be purchasing a picture of that lagoon and a picture of the hospital in the lagoon. I consider that reality residue evidence. It's really, you won't find photos of that hospital in the lagoon. It seems like it's very hard to find here. Out of all the images she has here, it seems like it's very hard to find. And to me, it has some value. And now she's actually trying to look for, I asked if she has any photos of when that airport first opened in 1939, because that airport did not exist at one point.
This is when it was being built.
Oh wow.
As you can see, it's very, very small airport.
Yeah.
And that's actually the isthmus.
Wow. Do you have any photos of like planes actually taking off or going down the runway on 1939?
I've got one of 2 Spitfires on the rock.
Like perhaps, okay, yeah, sure. Or something like this. This one looks really cool. Guys, so Maria here, the nice lady here at Lewis Photos, she recommended I buy one of these photos that is actually from 1939. It shows 2 aircrafts at the airport in which the year the airport was built, and you'll see these 2 old military planes on there. And I told her if she could do me the favor and actually write the island of Gibraltar with her signature, and I'm very excited to have her do this for me. Oh my god, you guys. The runway, 1939, when the airport was built on the island of Gibraltar. Maria.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That's the fact that she did that. That photo means a lot to me. It'll be a photo that I will hopefully pass on to my kids and my grandkids, and let them know the story of how I once came to Gibraltar and, you know, came here for this reason. And so this photo is very special. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you. All right, you guys, I am walking out of Lewis Photos, and wow, Maria is such a nice lady. I recommend you come here to Lewis Photos if you're looking for very vintage old photos. I mean, she has thousands of images. She literally probably has all the images that you can find in Google in here. And you know, it's a very unique shop here. I've walked through all parts of Gibraltar here in downtown Gibraltar, and you won't find a shop like hers. So it's definitely worth checking out. So as you guys saw, yeah, Maria was a very nice lady there at Lewis Photos. I told her my story about why I'm here and how, you know, Gibraltar, you know, I explained the whole Mandela effect, and how Gibraltar was an island in a parallel universe. She heard me out, and I told her, you know, I know it sounds crazy, and she was like, no, I understand, and you know, she was very open-minded. She, you know, heard me talk, and she listened to me. We had a whole conversation. You know, she gave me a breakdown of Gibraltar history, and you know, she explained Gibraltar, the history of Gibraltar in a very unique way, which I haven't heard from other people explain it to me. You know, I learned about the national day that they have here, which began in 1992. That's kind of like their Independence Day here, and every year on September 10th, ever since 1992, they've been celebrating National Day. All the Gibraltarians get together. You know, they wear the colors of the flag, red and white, and they celebrate, you know, kind of like their Independence Day. And I told her that's a date probably I would like to revisit Gibraltar. that seems like a good time to come. And you know, it's like seems very festive. And you know, she showed me how, you know, she showed me old photos of how, you know, they used to throw balloons in the air, and then once Gibraltar became ecological friendly, they started now they use flowers. There's a plane. Instead of letting balloons up in the air to celebrate National Day, what they do now is, you know, in order to save the environment, they actually, maybe a couple planes fly over Gibraltar, and they release flowers. So you actually see flowers being dropped all over Gibraltar, and that would be amazing to see and just be here during that time. So who knows, perhaps maybe I'll return to continue my investigation and prove my case that Gibraltar is an island in a reality that we can't actually physically see. And this is why there's so many discrepancies of people calling this place an island, but it's not an island. And yeah, she also told me that from 1969 to 1985 she lived here during those times. And you know, it was Gibraltar during those years, those 16 years, Gibraltar was completely isolated because the border, La Linea, with Spain was completely shut. So it was as if Gibraltar was an island, you know, because Gibraltarians here had nowhere to go. If they wanted to go to you know, Spain or any other countries, they would have to take a ferry from Gibraltar to Tangier, and then Tangier to Algeciras. It was like as if they're on an island. And I get that argument, and there's a reason why the border was closed from 1969 to 1985, and it's because Gibraltar actually exists as an island in another reality. And so that isolation is kind of a leak of timelines blending together, where everything was completely shut off from Spain and Gibraltar. That's residual evidence of leaking timelines into this timeline. I forgot to mention that while I was speaking to Maria, you know, I told Maria, you know, I'm getting different accounts, different testimonies from different people that the airport area was all covered by water. And you know, I was like, why is it that people believe there was water there and therefore it looked like an island? Because I'm hearing that from different people. I'm like, why is that if there, you know, if there's always been land and a small isthmus that connected to Spain? And she actually told me that right south of the airport there used to be a canal which went from the Bay of Gibraltar to the Mediterranean Sea to the east. So there was a Panama Canal there, and that during the old days before the airport was built, that sometimes there would be storms that would actually bring water through that small isthmus in which the airport currently exists. And I'm like, wow, do you have any photos of that, like of the canal or maybe of any storms? And unfortunately she does not know, and she doesn't think that she has any of it. But I'm like, wow, I would really like to see that, because that's a unique part of history. You know, it's right near the frontier with Spain, and you know, I could classify that as evidence. You know, that water that she said that the storms used to bring, the storms, you know, that water is, if we could find photos of that, that's definitely would be considered reality residue, because there was a strait to the north of the island, to the north of the rock, and that body of water, that sea breeze that I feel when I cross the airport, still to this day, that sea breeze is reality residue. And that water, that, you know, that water is reality residue, you know. And unfortunately there was no photos of that. I told her that, you know, maybe, you know, one day I'll return and see if she can find a photo for me. I'm gonna try searching myself on the internet when I get a chance later. But that was very interesting. No one else has ever, since I've been here, no one else here has told me about the canal and how storms used to bring water and cover that small isthmus between the Rock and La Línea, Spain. Very interesting, very interesting. So I'm very thankful for Maria. She, you know, she really broke down the history in a very unique way here in Gibraltar. Very unique way.